This is a Lotus Elise. I'm going to give you a quick review of this car, but I'm going to start off by telling you right away that if you want a real review of this car, go look up the Stradman and take a look at his review. Stradman's my brother, and this is his car, and I've had the privilege of driving it for the last 2 weeks, and figured I'd give you more of a common man's review of the Lotus. Part of that is because his review is going to be better than mine, no matter what I do. And the other part of it is that I don't know enough about this car to give a proper review. Honestly, don't even know what year it is. I want to say it's a 2007, but I do know some things about it from driving it for the last 2 weeks and from riding in it since he's owned it. He bought it with around 27,000 miles, and it's been a great car. He has had absolutely no issues with it since he bought it, and he gets great gas mileage and is a super fun car to drive. Great looking car. I'm a huge fan of the laser blue on this. The reason that he's loaning it to me for the last 2 weeks is because he lives in Utah, and they have a lot of snow in Utah, and unfortunately he doesn't have a garage right at the moment. And so his older brother and I have had the pleasure of taking care of the car for him in the meantime. My daily driver is a Subaru, so it's been a lot more fun driving his car for the last few weeks. But I can also tell you that every time that he and I go on a trip together, go skiing or climbing or backpacking, we end up taking my car. So as fun as it is to have the Lotus, it's not the most practical car, as you can see by its size and can just assume. It is a very challenging car to get inside of. As you can see, there's a large part of the chassis that you have to climb over to get down into the seat. Even for us being in our 20s, it's a real challenge trying to get in and out sometimes, and you always look like a fool no matter how you do it. It's also got really thin seats, not a lot of noise reduction inside, a lot of creaks and rattles, but that really contributes to the experience of this car. You're not buying this car because it's comfortable, you're buying it because it's a really unique car and a lot of fun to drive. He's driven this back and forth between Oregon and Utah several times, and because of the good gas mileage, it is really a very practical car to own. It's got a Toyota engine in it, so it's been really reliable and it gets really good gas mileage, and it really is perfect size engine for this car. It's not Ferrari fast or Lamborghini fast, but it's fast enough, and the experience is really what makes this car a success. Just the sound and the feel that you get when you're driving it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it for a drive. Now, it's a bit of a challenge to even get a video inside this cockpit because it's such a small car, but I will do my best to give you the rundown on it and help you experience what it's like to drive in a Lotus. So it's got a push button start, so in order to start the car, get the keys out, you got to it's kind of a funny push button start, because why not just turn the key and have it start instead of turn the key, push the button. You can see it makes a real nice sound when it starts up. I love the exhaust on this car. It's actually got a custom exhaust that I think does well. One of my favorite things about this car actually is when you look out the back mirror and you see that line on the car. I love the way that that looks. Not used to getting that in any front engine car. I just love the way that that line looks. You can see the air intake back there and just the mid-engine really. So I definitely love that about it. So let's go ahead and take it for a drive. The manual transmission on this car is really easy to use. I used to drive in an automatic, and sometimes struggle with manuals. My dad's got an M Roadster, a BMW M Roadster, and I feel like the shifting on it is just kind of, you have to play with it a little bit more, and the Lotus is just so simple. You just shift it into gear and there's no way that you can mess it up shifting. Really like that about it. Hear that exhaust. One thing that you certainly experience in this car is a little bit of being vulnerable. It is so small. Beautiful noise. Close the windows so you can hear me. But yeah, what I was going to say is this car, you do feel a little vulnerable. Anytime that I get on a highway with it, there are large SUVs and trucks, and living in Oregon, there are a lot of those. You don't want to spend too much time in the left lane next to a vehicle as you're passing them. You want to, as best as you can, try to get past them so you don't get stuck in a blind spot. And just, make sure that cars are aware of where you're at, because you don't want to get in an accident in this thing. It's tiny. So much smaller than you expect looking at pictures or videos on the internet. It's a really small car, and you just don't want to get in an accident. And I believe they actually stopped making them in the U.S. because they couldn't pass U.S. safety standards, so if that says anything. But it's a ton of fun to drive, and I think it's worth taking the chance you get in an accident. My brother and I have never been in accidents before, so as long as you're just safe and, don't put yourself in a situation that could get you in trouble. We usually stick to driving fast outside of city limits. So one of the great things about this car is the revving. It, as you can see, maxes out at 10,000 RPMs. Obviously, you don't want to get up to 10,000, but it revs a lot higher than most cars that I'm used to. And one of the biggest struggles with driving it is that at 6,000 RPMs, it makes a beautiful noise. I want to say that it's the cam adjusters that makes the noise, but I don't know for sure. But what I can tell you is that it's a prize for getting to 6,000 RPMs. And the unfortunate part about that is that it entices you to go to 6,000 RPMs. As I said, I'm usually a law-abiding citizen, try to drive the speed limit, and never had a ticket in my life. But I'm telling you, if I owned this car as my daily driver, that would be a real struggle, because it is the most beautiful noise. And this car is just too easy and too fun to drive fast. I don't know that the sound will pick up very well on this phone if I try to simulate that for you, but we'll see what we can do picking up the sound at 6,000 RPMs. Hopefully I don't get a ticket while I'm trying to do this. It certainly could happen. I actually just saw a policeman drive by, and I was holding my cell phone, which talking on your cell phone and driving in Oregon is illegal. So already I'm breaking the law. Just like I said, this car makes you break the law. So if you're worried about getting a speeding ticket, don't buy one of these. Go with the Subaru. That thing will not speed. Wanted to give the car a chance to warm up. I haven't driven it yet today, so that's why I wasn't accelerating too hard for the beginning of this video. But it has probably had adequate time to warm up. So here we go. Whoa, beautiful noise. You hear that 6,000 RPMs? Kind of hard to drive and shift while holding a phone though. And if you didn't notice, a little light came on as I was accelerating. That's saying the car's not warmed up yet. So I was too excited. I need to wait a little longer, let it warm up a little more before I do that. Especially since it's not my car. You got to take care of it like it is. So for you though, those of you that are curious about how you might get your hold of one and hands a hold of one of these, this particular Lotus is going to be going for sale this summer of 2015. Sadly. I'm sorry for cutting out there. Like I mentioned, if you want a professional YouTube video of a Lotus Elise, go to the Stradman. if you're okay with this conglomeration of poorly edited, bad, shaky clips of video, then this channel's the perfect spot. But wanted to give you one experience of accelerating the Lotus, and here we go. We're about to have a green light. Hear it make its beautiful noises. Beautiful. But as I mentioned, unfortunately, this is probably the last time that I will ever drive this Lotus Elise, because my brother is going to be selling it this summer. And if you are looking to get a Lotus Elise, I would highly recommend it. If you're willing to put up with some of the inconveniences of a Lotus, I think that they're far outweighed by just the joy of owning a Lotus and driving a Lotus. And this car's been a fantastic car. He's had no problems with it. It gets great gas mileage, and I'm really sad to see it go. I wish that I could afford to buy it off of him, but unfortunately my wife and I are looking for a second car, and we need something a bit more practical. So anyway, I want to thank my brother for letting me borrow this car for the last couple of weeks, and he's about to see it for the first time in several months. He just flew in last night and headed over to my parents' house to return it to him so he can drive it to Utah, and he is going to be excited to see it, and I appreciate him letting me use it. So there you go, the Lotus Elise.